Hello and welcome to our ValEUs podcast series. My name is David Orlov from Nazarbayev University in Astana, Kazakhstan. This podcast is part of the ValEUs project, the Jean Monnet Policy Network titled ValEUs Research and Education Network on Contestations to EU Foreign Policy. It's founded from the Erasmus program of the European Commission for a 3-year period starting from January 2024. This ambitious project, involving 20 partner institutions from 17 countries across 5 continents, focuses on scrutinizing the foreign policy of the European Union and the challenges posed to its values. Today, we are joined by Vladimir Filipovic, an associate professor at Libertas International University in Zagreb, Croatia. Hello, Vladimir. How are you?
Right. Hello, David. Thanks. I'm very good.
Vladimir's main research area is contemporary Southeastern Europe since 1989, especially the region of former Yugoslavia, particularly transition in 90s, and international politics in the Balkans. One of your recent works, which will be published soon, discusses the questions of EU enlargement, and so I suggest to discuss questions related to it. And also, as I have background in the Balkan region, specifically a post-Yugoslav region, I know very well that in all states people constantly discuss these issues. And with only 2 countries right now being members of the EU, while the remaining 4 being constantly in the process of negotiation, and accession talks are always the topic. So let's begin with the broad question. How do you see the current problems of EU enlargement in the Western Balkans?
Thank you, David. Now, when you mentioned Balkan region, a different situation, different countries, and we use that term Western Balkans, just a short explanation, what is actually Western Balkans? So what is Balkans anyway? So, in my country, in Croatia, when you say to ordinary people that you are on the Balkans, a lot of them will say, no, we're not. In Slovenia, especially.
Of course.
But even in some other countries, which are undoubtedly Balkans, they say, no, we are not the Balkans. So in academy, we have a lot of books and articles, what is actually Balkans. I think the most known is book of Maria Todorovna, Imaginary Balkan. But of course, we can understand that nobody wants to be poor term for instability or maybe unrationality or whatever. I think anyone who listen our talk will have some idea, some image of the Balkans.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. The Balkans is undoubtedly geographical term, and geography is more or less clear. But the question, what is Balkan culturally or what is Balkans politically, is completely different issue. So I think that means that you are the Balkans depends about some element of culture, some elements of culture, and especially about politics. So Slovenia is undoubtedly not Balkans anymore. Slovenia was a Balkans. It's not geographically, it's not culturally, but maybe as a part of former Yugoslavia, Slovenia was a Balkan for some period. Croatia is a semi-Balkan. In Croatia, politicians very often say we are Mediterranean and Central European country. Yes, that's true. But also Croatia is a Balkan country. Kosovo or Northern Macedonia are fully Balkan countries. So Croatia is one part of Croatian identity and political life, political culture is Balkan, undoubtedly. It's not fully, but it is. But what is important here? Nobody wants to be what is actually Balkan from the image. Of course, today, when Slovenia and Croatia from former Yugoslav region are members of NATO and European Union, maybe the Balkan region is what is southeastern from that border. That was also border more or less between Austrian and Ottoman Empire for centuries. And actually, sovereignist nationalists in Slovenia and Croatia, in Hungary, are happy with that scenario. That's the border of civilized Europe from their perspective. But of course, maybe it's not the best for you if you are on the border. Why should that? If that is the border between the space of stability and instability, of prosperity and poorness, it's better that that border is far from you, not that you are on the border. But Western Balkan is word term today for what, actually? For post-Yugoslav space, which is not in European Union. That's typical. Yeah. Bulgaria, Romania entered European Union before, Croatia in 2013, Greece is previously there. So some formula, former Yugoslavia minus Slovenia plus Albania or Croatia is somewhere there. That's the Western Balkan. So, okay, you need to have some term. But when we talk about enlargement, enlargement of European Union in the Western Balkan is not only technical issue, just enlargement. So, okay, from the perspective of Western Balkan, that's much more of that. That's solution for more or less all problems. That's the end of history. And after that will be also maybe not rich and prosperous like Western Europe, but at least somehow everything will be fine. So there are a lot of opinions among different authors in Croatia and the entire post-Yugoslav region that Bosnia-Herzegovina should be integrated in European Union just like that, without any terms, without reforms, and that can change situation there. That will lead to some miracles, that entire state and society will not be divided anymore, that everything will be fine. So if we think about that, there is no guarantee for that. Or maybe some quick accession can solve some problems, but maybe not. For example, in Croatia, some reforms existed in a period before Croatia entered European Union, but after Croatia entered, after the accession, a lot of reforms actually stopped because country was not forced to do anymore. Let me just give you an example of regional politics or some kind of reconciliation from the war in 1990s. The process of reconciliation existed at the beginning of 21st century. And in Croatia, it was understood as something what European Union wants. When Croatia entered Union, that stopped. That's not the main reason. The reason for why reconciliation stopped is authoritarian tendency in Serbia. But that also was a reason that in Croatia, actually, no one was interested in that anymore after the country entered European Union. But just let's go back on your question on the main topic. When we talk about enlargement, there are two main problems with enlargement. The first is, let's say, local. The second is on the level of European Union. The first local problem is that what about that countries? What about Serbia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Kosovo, North Macedonia, Albania? What about conditions? What about institutions, reforms? That countries more or less we can't say they are ready for that if European Union is serious with the conditions. Also, it's a question, do they all want that actually? I'm not sure that a referendum in Serbia will be in favor of European Union right now. So we are not sure that. We are not sure that these countries are democracies anymore. So European Union, as we know, is a integration for liberal democracies. I said, I'm not sure they are democracies. Bosnia-Herzegovina is not liberal democracy. It's not my opinion. You can say that in different reports for Serbia and Bosnia, from Human Rights Watch, from International Crisis Group, for different reports. So that's a local problem. The problem on the level of European Union is that actually there is no common politics about enlargement. That there is no actually politics of enlargement, and different countries have different approach without any idea what to do actually, or at least I don't see that idea. What to do with those countries? one issue is rhetoric. Yes, they need to take some reforms. They need to improve to empower their institutions. But actually, what about enlargement? Also, you are aware of case of North Macedonia. They did actually almost everything the European Union wanted, but then Greece and Bulgaria put a veto on their entrance into European Union, and now they can wait for decades. So, of course, that countries, it's possible that in those countries are some feeling of betrayal of that they were uh, that they were uh, in position that they did what they wanted. That was something very painful, and after that, nothing. So that can be the case with Macedonia.
So from what you've just said, it could be the case that, for example, for Bosnia and Herzegovina, it's not the reforms that they would implement in their countries that would help them to enter the EU, but on the other hand, the issues that they have could lead them closer to EU, such as, for example, what happened with Dodik like 6 months ago, and EU does not want this another escalation of conflict, and they would accept Bosnia as it is. Is it possible?
Uh, it is possible. Of course, European Union can do that without problems. The entire cost is really low. Europe is rich and prosperous enough that Europe can afford that.
Mhm.
Uh, there is some integration capacity. For example, when Croatia entered European Union, it was only one country in that round of enlargement. Nobody in Union noticed almost. So
Mhm.
it's relatively, Bosnia is a small country. So I think the population now is 3 million.
Yes.
Um, so of course Europe can do that, but what I wanted to say, there is no guarantee that after the entrance something useful would happen in Bosnia. That doesn't mean necessary that institutions will be more powerful, that
Mhm.
judiciary will be more independent, that corruption will be lower, and especially in Bosnia and Herzegovina, that serious democratic deficit they had that can just like that be solved with the entrance into European Union. In Croatia, that was the same story for more than a decade. The explanation was that primary goal of Croatian foreign politics is to enter the European Union. Okay, uh, but what what is next? Uh, what wanted to say. So, okay, let's put Bosnia into European Union, and what actually will happen? Does that society will not be divided anymore? Politics there is completely based on ethnic identity.
Yes.
Serbian entity in Bosnia and Herzegovina is connected with Russia. Uh, they see Russia as their protector. There are some influence of Turkey among Bosniak, uh,
Mhm.
or less majority. Smaller Croatian community in Bosnia and Herzegovina wanted to be uh, uh, recognized as a pro-Western element there, but West, NATO, European Union didn't recognize that just like that. They don't. There are some reserves to politics of Croats in Bosnia and Herzegovina due to usually because of some nationalist concept and what was recognized as separatist tendencies. So I don't see that the European Union can solve that problems
Mhm.
just like that.
Well, how do you think what you mentioned? Also, there is China, huge influence of China in Serbia, for example. Do these external actors also affect non-inclusion of these countries into European Union, as well as policies of the European Union made these countries closer to their other potential allies, such as Russia and China, for example? Uh, After Milosevic, Serbia was willing to get rid of this World War II legacy, to become more European. But then when European Union decided not to support them, they again reinvented this World War II mythology in order to ally with Russia, and they moved away from EU. So how does this play?
Just one small correction. Serbia was allied with Russia in the First World War. In Second World War, Yugoslav partisan movement, which existed in Serbia and Croatia, in all Yugoslav republic, but not so in Serbia,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
was allied with Stalin, of course. But in Serbia, Tito Stalin split after the Second World War, created situation where Russia was not so favored. But we can say that in Serbian political culture, especially conservative, there are a lot of uh, good feelings towards the Russia, especially in church. Uh, I think a few weeks ago, Patriarch of Serbian Church visited Patriarch Kirill in Moscow and completely uh, and spoke completely in favor of what was called a Russian world. Uh, so there are clear connections between Serbia and Russia. But anyway, in Serbia, influence of European Union, especially in economy, is much larger than Chinese and Russian. There are some also a lot of weapons, which Serbia bought a lot of weapons last few years. Most weapons are bought from Western side. Influence of China is usually influence of China is limited. So there are a lot of infrastructure projects uh, which China participated, but not more than that. Also, Serbia is landlocked entity, so economic influence of China is maybe better in is uh, probably higher in Greece than in Serbia because of peer report and so on. Greece is a long time for a long time member of UN in NATO. But there are some cultural centers of Russia in Serbia. The influence of Russia exists, but a lot of people sympathize Russia, Putin, not only because of some kind of historical legacy, but also uh, a lot of a lot of politicians on the Balkans, especially in Serbia, but in entire Balkans, they sympathize Putin because they like his style, his power, his autocracy, actually, and he inspires them. Not some Western leaders who are prime ministers for a few years. So Putin reminds them on Tito or some previous dictator who ruled for decades, had image of strong leader. So that's the reason. Erdogan also. There are some inspiration with President Erdogan in the Balkan region. Depends depends about your religion usually. But that influence exists, not in Albania for sure, not in Kosovo, not in Macedonia, but influence exists of Russia, political, not so economic, but political and cultural, let's say, in Serbia and among Serbs in Montenegro and Bosnia-Herzegovina, in Serbian identity of in Serbian entity of Bosnia-Herzegovina. We can't say we can't measure that influence. Who knows? But I think that more of that is an image or then it's reality. Let me give you one example. During the war in 1990s, Russia didn't have too much sympathy for Serbia. For example, Russia voted for sanction in Security Council. Okay, it was different period. Under Yeltsin, Russia wanted some partnership with West, completely different situation. And Russia did nothing to help Serbia. When NATO bombed Serbia in 1999, Russia didn't move. But at the same time, in Serbia, still was an image that Russians are on their side, no matter Russia imposed sanctions. Of course, for Russia, it's not the same. A lot of politicians or ordinary people in Russia don't care too much about Serbia, that's for sure. There are some interested people who are interested in, but of course, it's one of marginal issues around, not probably the main issue. So European Union should try to promote reforms in that countries, which is the toughest problem. There is no solution that just let them in. That's not solution from my point. And also it's not solution let them out. Let's ignore them. That's also that's probably the worst solution. Because if you ignore that countries, that's chance for Russia, China, partially Turkey. But that's the problem. What is my important, what I want to say, what is different than some other academics from the region, I don't think that express accession into European Union would solve the problems. I don't think that would happen.
Well, for many of these countries, these discussions been in place for 3 decades already. And if this process continues when these countries are constant candidates but never member states, do they think that probably we should not even try? Maybe we could
Yeah,
look in other directions.
yeah, it's matter of time when they will say that. Or what about alternatives? It's also a question. Turkey was in similar position,
Yes.
but it's different. Turkey is maybe not great power, but at least a regional power, a large country, which had some other possibilities. But still, Russia, at least it's my opinion, is not strong enough to be serious actor on the Balkans. In a case that Russia wins war in Ukraine, and that Ukraine is new Belarus, for example, that is puppet regime in Kiev from Russia, that would create different situation. In that circumstances, Serbia will be closely aligned with Russia, but that scenario would not cause only problems for Serbia. That would be same scenario in Bulgaria, partially in Romania, not fully, but partially. That would change situation in North Macedonia, in Hungary, Slovakia. Even that would have some consequences in Croatia. At least we know now it's not likely that will happen with Ukraine, but we still can't know how what will be the final solution of the war in Ukraine. We don't know.
And the EU itself, to what extent is it interested in accepting these countries? And if it is interested, what should it do to make the process more effective?
You think interest from perspective of Europe? That's your question. What is the interest of Europe to
And
to
are they
accept
truly
it?
interested?
Are that countries interested in Balkans, or what is interest of Europe?
No, no. Are they interested in accession of these countries into the European Union?
Among European countries,
Yes,
for example, in Germany and France.
of course.
Sometimes interest can be we don't know what to do with them. We talk about market economy. That's small market, small number of people, not so strong market with limited capacities. Nothing special there, not for investments, but you can also invest without European Union. So nothing special. So there is no special economic interest. At least I don't see that. Also, from NATO perspective, from European Union perspective, that area is surrounded with NATO members. So it's from the perspective of geopolitics also not so. But the problem is you have one black part on the map. It's a broader issue. What is actually European Union? Is that really European project? Where are the borders of European Union? What about accession of other countries? Okay, imagine situation Bosnia, Herzegovina, Montenegro, Serbia, Albania, they're all members. So who is next?
Mhm.
When enlargement ends? Is
Mhm.
that also case for Georgia, Armenia,
Yeah.
maybe for Kazakhstan one day? Or where are the borders? Is the European Union empire or what? There were some
Mhm.
ideas that Tunisia and Morocco can
Mm.
access. Of course, if you want larger internal market, maybe that's a good scenario, but also other actors are involved in that case. Uh, if you use idea that Bosnia should be part of European Union because of stability,
Mhm.
it's better for security, for stability, for everyone. Okay, let's take Libya into European
Uh-huh.
Union. So why not? From that perspective, okay, it's not European country. Okay, but if matter is stability,
Mhm.
uh, we can use similar analogy. But the reason is you need to do something with that area because someone else can cause some problems there. That's
Mhm.
neighborhood, and really that's Europe, without doubts. We can argue is Turkey Europe, is Georgia Europe, Armenia,
Mhm.
but this area, Western Balkans, is undoubtedly Europe.
Of course.
It's on the border of the European space, which is space of prosperity and stability, which probably never existed in history before. So you need to be careful about your neighborhood.
Mhm.
Also, countries from the Western Balkans, uh, at least declaratively, they said we want to be part of European Union. These goals are in their strategies of foreign politics. So if you have politics of open
Mhm.
door politics, they are European countries. They have right to ask to be the members.
Yeah.
And if they really want that, uh, you should you should do that. There was a story before, serious political ideas or less serious, at the beginning of 2000s, when Central European countries entered the European Union in
Mhm.
2004, Poland, Czechia, Hungary, etc. What to do with the area of former Yugoslavia. And
Mhm.
there were ideas of so-called collective accession,
Mhm.
that instead of accession to European Union, Union should recommend some regional association, which can
Mhm.
be some kind of preparation for European Union. And when the entire region is ready, uh, not in that case, everyone will be all countries will become members. The problem was Croatia was against that
Mhm.
and insisted on so-called individual approach. In Croatia, that was a fear that that will cause a problem that you need to wait Bosnia and you can wait forever. Uh, so we can't say that Croatia did something seriously in terms of lobbying or something, but Union was unable to say, okay, you are in different position, you made some reforms, you are in better position than others. Oh, okay, you can enter. And the term Western Balkans is invented in that period, just
Mhm.
as some kind of replacement. And there were some ideas how to organize region with some alternative to European Union, and then entrance and so-called collective approach. That failed, and the idea that different countries should be measured individually actually created situation that now every country is in different position.
Mhm.
Um, so I think that if everything is okay, Albania can be a member.
Yeah.
Also, Montenegro, also Macedonia. I see that as a realistic scenario if there is no some external shocks. That
Mhm.
doesn't mean that those countries are ready, but they can be the members. There are three problems. Kosovo, which is not recognized by all countries in European Union. For example, Spain or Slovakia they don't recognize Kosovo as an independent country, so that's a serious problem. So they are nowhere. The problem is with Bosnia and Herzegovina, with fully with society, with more society than state, is not in position to do any reforms. Also, Bosnia and Herzegovina is under international supervising.
Yes.
So in the European Union, there is institution of High Representative, Office of High Representative of the European Union, who is actually governor of the country, and he has full sovereignty actually in the country. He can do almost everything he wants. That have some good consequences and some bad consequences. We can criticize that practice because it's completely undemocratic, unliberal, whatever. But at the same time, who knows what would happen without high representative? Maybe some limited conflicts, probably. And finally, Serbia, with what we already mentioned.
Well, yeah, in Bosnia and Herzegovina, the elites are probably in favor of the current system. They all have their
Political
piece of the
elites.
pie. Yes, of course. In the Dayton peace agreement system, they are fine with this system.
Political
They
elites
cannot be
are
challenged.
completely, yeah, political elites are completely fine with that system. Also, spread corruption and criminal on the high level exists, and they are actually satisfied and happy. Also, they influence in society, so there are a lot of population of Bosnia and Herzegovina is actually also fine with that. No matter from some kind of European or rational perspective, that's disaster. But from the perspective, I don't know about percentage of population. We can guess, but there are a lot of supporters of ruling elites in Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Okay, probably last quick question. What's your perspective for the next 5 to 10 years? Which countries are really likely to join the EU? Which ones would remain candidates?
I've already said something about it.
Albania.
Yes, Albania, North Macedonia, and Montenegro, if everything is fine, if there are no external shocks, if somehow the European Union can convince Greece and Bulgaria to stop with veto to North Macedonia, and that's possible scenario. Also, that 4 countries are small with low population, not with weak institutions, but I think European Union can integrate them without problems for European Union. And their problems are the problems similar which existed in Romania and Bulgaria when those countries entered European Union. Similar. But the main problem is still there. What about Serbia? What about Bosnia and Herzegovina and Kosovo? That's the problem, and I don't see solution. So if you ask me what is my prediction, it's, of course, I'm not Nostradamus, but I think that situation in Bosnia and Herzegovina will be the same. If you can live on that way 30 years, you can live 40 or 50. Bosnia and Herzegovina lost a large percentage of their population. Population of Bosnia and Herzegovina will be probably higher in Germany, Austria than in Bosnia and Herzegovina.
It's 50-50, yes.
Yeah, 50-50. So that can be the same. And that situation is not good, but that situation at the same time in Bosnia and Herzegovina, you have some stability. Okay. Stability means for Europe and from neighborhood countries, also for Croatia, still stability. They are poor, they are without development, but at the same time, there is no refugees, there is no terrorism, there are no problems. There are still some kind of buyer. You can sell them something. For
Mm-hmm.
Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina is important
Mm-hmm.
market for Croatian export. It's not something serious, but for small countries, everything is important. So why not? If you talk about influence of other political actors such as Russia and China, okay, let's imagine a situation that they have some serious influence. But what? The actors on the Balkans are really weak actors.
Mm-hmm.
There is a joke in the Balkans that demographic catastrophe, which exists in all countries, is actually there is something good in that.
Uh-huh.
So nobody can fight a new war. So there is no enough young male population to
Yeah.
fight again, or at least it's seriously limited.
Mm-hmm.
So situation can last much longer. Serbia is country with serious capacities for Western Balkans terms. Uh, And that, if you ask me about the future, Serbia is this area where is hardest to say anything.
Uh-huh.
Uh, there are more than a year with serious riots against Vučić, uh, and I don't see, although you can have some sympathies towards the protesters,
Mm.
but I don't see any serious alternative to his power, uh, at least not yet. And unfortunately, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in possibility of serious democratic changes there.
Okay, Vladimir, thank you very much for your time, for sharing your knowledge. I personally learned a lot, and so I believe will our listeners. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David.